Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Jewish Stripper, Real, Raw and Real with Alla Kaplan. I just have to make a little, hold on one second. There we go. And if you're new to me, my name is Alla Kaplan, and I'm raw and real. Anyway, so I don't have my little banner today, the Jewish stripper, but I have my logo behind me there. There she is, the Jewish stripper. So in any case, I'm Alla Kaplan, a former stripper, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, I am at Alla, A-L-L-A, Kaplan, K-A-P-L-A-N, 3270, or just the Jewish Stripper. You can find me on there. So today, I want to talk about, as I said in my episode, this is season 2, episode 20, and I am talking about the Jihadist death cult. And I said the Jihadist death cult will not win. And the reason I'm saying this, the reason I want to say what's going on with what happened in Washington, D.C., with the couple that was killed by a Latino man. So they were shot, and the girl wasn't, the guy was going to propose to her. I think they were at the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Somebody said embassy. It wasn't the embassy. It was the Jewish Museum. I think there was an event at the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. And I'm not reading anymore, so I could take my glasses off. The event at the Jewish Museum where a man opened fire, and I don't know how he got the gun. I don't know how he was allowed to get into the building with his gun. I don't know if they had those put oh my God, the detectors, the metal detectors that are supposed to they're supposed to detect weapons. That's specifically why they're there. So it sounds like an inside job because someone allowed him to come in there and shoot people, and he had a backpack. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there for a second. So the man had a backpack, and he was allowed to enter the building with a gun and open fire on people simply because they're Jews, and then screaming when he was arrested, "Free Palestine." And it's also amazing to me that he was not shot on sight, that he was actually, what's the word? The man was arrested, but he was captured. He was captured, and in any other situation, normally a gunman would be shot completely right away on sight. So yeah, I'm on fire today. This is not today's podcast. Is again has nothing to do with stripping. I just happen to be a Jewish woman who used to be a stripper, and yes, that's the name of my brand. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to look at it, or you don't have to watch it. And the earrings keep falling out of my ears. I don't know why. Every time, every time I do a podcast, the earrings are coming out. So that's silly. So then the other day, somebody threw a Molotov cocktail in is it Boulder, Colorado, at some Jewish people. So what I want to talk about, this jihadist death cult. Okay, so what is jihad? Let's define jihad. Jihad is something in the Quran that talks about, say, war on infidels. So basically, anyone who is not a Muslim is an infidel. And the Quran, I'm not quoting it. I've actually never read it, but from what I understand of quotes that I have read, is that it's not just about Jews, it's about anyone who does not follow Islam. So, as I said before, this is now a global problem. This is a global problem. This is not just about Jews. This is not just about Israel. This is about radical Muslims, people who don't even understand the history of Arab countries, the Middle East, the history of the Jewish people, and the history of the Palestinian people, who these are young people who have, I think, found an identity, as I understand it. They've found an identity in this protest. They don't really know anything about the Middle East or the history of the Middle East, or when people call Israel colonizers, but it's surrounded by Arab countries, Arab and Islamic countries. And by the way, Iran, who is funding all of this, and Qatar is hiding or sitting there, are the Palestinian leaders who are billionaires who receive the money that's supposed to go to Palestine for food, and Hamas is actually stopping the food from reaching the people that need it in Palestine. So they colonized, the Arabic people colonized the Middle East, most of the Middle East, except for one tiny little sliver of land called Israel. And that's the problem, that they have the right to exist, but they've decided that the Jewish people don't have the right to exist and don't have the right to return to the land that they are indigenous to. And now these uneducated, ignorant, young people have become radical Muslims and radical jihadists. And the jihad is against the entire Western world. It has nothing to do with the Jewish people. The Jewish people are just a bump in the road for them. That's what we are. But we're a very big bump in the road, because we will not go away. And I am an unapologetic Jew, and I will say proudly that I'm a Zionist. And if people don't understand what Zionism is, Zionism did not start in 1948 when the State of Israel was created. Zionism is the hope of the Jewish people to live in the land that they're indigenous to. And Zionism started, it was just a phrase that was created in the 19th century, 18th or 19th century. But Zionism was all really, in definition, is a hope to return to the indigenous land that was the nation of Israel. And the nation of Israel are the Jewish people. That's what the nation of Israel is. And I will tell you, we're going to be around forever. We're not going anywhere. All of this protest and free Palestine, no one seems to want to mention the fact that no one wants to go back to the day of October 7th of 2023. We're coming up on 2 years of this, 2 years of this war, 2 years of refusing a ceasefire, 2 years of refusing a two-state solution. And that's actually goes back way more than 2 years, the offer of the two-state solution. And the refusal to return hostages' bodies who have been killed to their families, and the hostages who are still alive. 50 hostages still supposedly alive in the Gaza Strip. And let's not get carried away. Okay, I will say this to you. The Jewish people, this is not our first rodeo. We are used to this, because people have been trying to kill us for centuries, millennia, not just since October 7th, when Hamas went into a peaceful kibbutz, a peaceful music festival, and started randomly killing anyone, whether they were Jews or not. They didn't ask. Whether they were peaceful activists, they didn't ask. Whether they were actually even formerly from Palestine, they didn't ask. They didn't ask if people were straight or gay or bisexual or whatever, LGBTQT. They didn't ask. They just started killing people randomly. And let's not forget that. And that's what people, when they're protesting and when they're screaming free Palestine, they don't seem to want to mention back. They want to talk about what Israel is doing in defense of itself in Gaza. It's a genocide. We're colonizers. We're settlers, blah, blah, blah. We're cousins. We all have the same DNA, by the way. We're cousins. The Arabs and the Jewish people are cousins. And you want a brief history of why the Arabs and the Jewish people are cousins is because Israel, the Jewish people, and the Arab people come from Abraham. Abraham had a wife, but he also had a slave girl, and she was not a Jew. And he had children with the slave girl. And so they are descendants of Abraham, just like the Jews. And there's a brief history for you. And that's why we are cousins. And our cousins hate us. And our cousins don't want to live peacefully side by side. And this has been going on for over 2,000 years. And so the land of Palestine was just a territory, and it has never been a sovereign nation, and it has been offered to be a sovereign nation probably 10 or 20 times, something like that. So the nation of Israel, the Jewish people, they're only to them a bump in the road. What they really want is the entire world to be a caliphate. They want the entire modern, Western, liberal, democratic world to be an entire caliphate. A caliphate in every state in the United States, a caliphate in every country in Europe, a caliphate in Asia, everywhere. They want a caliphate of the world, an Islamic world. And anyone who gets in the way is an infidel. And what happens is these people, and it's difficult for me actually to say that they're people, because what the Hamas, what they did is monstrous. They're monsters. And to rape women, to put babies in ovens, these jihadists are indoctrinated from the time that they are children. Their books teach them to kill Jews in their schools. They teach them from an early age, almost from diapers, to go kill a Jew, to kill infidels. And this is a death cult. The death cult that you should be killing anyone who is not like you, that you should be happy to give up your own children for this jihadist war. One woman said, she had 3 sons, but she had 7 sons, so she's happy to give more. Oh, I had 7. I'm happy to give more sons. So the death celebrating becoming martyrs, their families get paid if they kill Jews. If someone is a terrorist and they're captured by the Israelis and they're in an Israeli jail, their families are being paid because they are martyrs. And if they die, they are martyrs, and their families are paid. And it's a constant celebration of death, whether it's death on their side or whether it's death on our side. And our side wants peace, and our side wants freedom for all people, freedom from groups like Hamas, who are killing their own people, blocking food from their own people, water, everything that they need. And don't be fooled by what you see on television when they show dead people or dead Palestinians, because there are parts of Palestine, aside from Gaza, where only they're trying to clear out the terrorists who are still holding hostages in tunnels. But let me repeat this. This is not our first rodeo. The Jewish people survived the Romans, the Greeks, the Babylonians. For thousands of years, and the Holocaust. Let's not forget the Germans, who, as Yohei Sponder, a Jewish comedian, said, and I'm going to use a dirty word right now, so I'm going to say it, as Yohei Sponder said, if the Jewish people survived the Holocaust, the Germans, and he said, if those motherfuckers couldn't kill us, I wish you luck. I wish Hamas and everybody after them luck, because if they had a final solution, a death machine. They had the ovens, burning people in ovens by hundreds, if not thousands, per day before the war ended, before the British and the Americans, before the British bombed them, and everyone knew, by the way, the whole world knew what was going on in Europe with the Holocaust. The whole world knew that there were death camps, concentration camps, where people were being starved to death, worked to death, experiments, medical experiments, trying to change people's eye color, doing gynecological experiments on the women, all kinds of horrors. And the world knew that the Germans were a killing machine and killing the Jews by the thousands, by the hundreds, by the thousands, and ignored it until the Jewish people were almost non-existent. But they survived it. They survived it, and it kills them. It killed them that they survived, that there were any left. And now that people question and put conspiracy theories on our people and blood libels, that we're responsible for every war, that we're responsible for, they used to say that we drank Christian blood, the baby's Christian blood. This is how they slandered us, that we were warmongers, that we started all the wars. This is just bullshit, pure bullshit, and blood libels on the Jewish people who came, and every country that they ever lived in, and every time they contribute to the world in medicine, in science, in literature, in music, they question How is it that there's only not that many of them, only 15 million, 15 million in the world, 2% of the world, and yet they create amazing things. We create amazing things. We, as I say, as a collective, because I'm part of Israel, I'm part of the Jewish nation. How is it possible? What is so special about these people? And why did they choose to call themselves chosen? Or maybe God chose them. Well, I don't know who chose what, but like I said, this is not our first rodeo. We're not going away. And like I said, the Germans couldn't kill them with the killing machine, the final solution that they planned. They had a dinner, and I'll be finishing up with that. They had a dinner, and they sat down. The most prominent people who were part of the Nazi death solution. And just like the jihadists who call the Israelis Nazis, they are now the true Nazis. They have now, and they're, let's see, oh yeah, just to mention something, Kanye West put out a song saluting Hitler and the Nazis. Congratulations. Good job, Kanye. Really, really smart business. So, in any case, that's ignorance and idiocy. So, if the Germans sat down, had scientists, lawyers, doctors, the most prominent Germans sit down and plan in a couple hours at a dinner at a mansion that used to be owned by a Jewish person who they killed. They stole the mansion from the Jewish person. Jealousy of Jews being rich and flourishing. Forget all the, forget all the contributions that the Jewish people made to the German country, actually. Germany, they were actually invited about 400 years before the Holocaust. I'll give you another history lesson. 400 years before the Holocaust, the king of Germany, which was, I think, known at that time as Prussia, was invited the Jews to come and live there. Why? Because they always contribute wherever they go to society. And so what's the difference between the Jews and the jihadist Islamic radicals? Well, the jihadist Islamic radicals want to kill everyone who's not a Islamist, who's not a Muslim, whereas the Jews, wherever they go, live in peace, contribute to the world, and of course, if they prosper and they help others prosper, people forget that if the Jews prosper, everyone around them prospers as well. Because the Jewish Torah teaches doesn't teach jihad, it teaches peace and acceptance and tolerance. And the Jews live with other people in acceptance and tolerance wherever they go. But, jihadists just want to kill everyone. And the Jews just want to live in peace. So, this death cult, we will survive it. They will not win. And I will repeat this over and over. You can take my video down. You can disagree with me. You can make comments. You can write. I read an article today on medium.com where I write that Jews were responsible for all the wars in Central America. I mean, okay, so if we're responsible for everything in the world, we're not doing a very good job because people are trying to kill us, and that just happens every century. It's nothing new to us. The only thing that is showing right now, and that's really it's showing people their true colors, the true anti-Semites, which, by the way, Arabs are Semitic people, and they can deny it until they're blue in the face or they die. But they are Semitic people because they are the descendants of Abraham, just like the Jews. So they are Semitic people. So when you call someone anti-Semitic, or you say that the Arab Muslims are anti-Semitic, it's a funny joke to me because they are Semitic people. So you can call them anti-Zionists, but I'm going to end with this today. I don't want to go too long. Like I said, and I'm going to repeat it again, this is not our first time. Em Chai Israel, Em Israel Chai. Israel will live on. The nation of Israel will live on. We're not going away. You can try to dismantle us. You can try to kill us all. If we survive the Germans, then just imagine what else we can survive, especially that we are empowered with being united. And I also want to just say, any Jew who wants to apologize for being a Jew, or who wants to apologize for Israel for defending itself, that any country in the world is allowed to do, except the Jewish country, of course. But it is not just a Jewish country. It is a country open to Christians, open to Muslims who serve in politics, who serve as lawyers, doctors, who go actually and serve in the army, Arab Palestinians and Druze who are now being targeted. The Druze people are an ancient people. If you don't know who the Druze people are, go Google it. They are also nomadic Arabic people. If Israel is open to anyone who wants to live in peace, it is not just a Jewish country. It is the most democratic, open, liberal country in the Middle East. They are tolerant, peaceful people, but they will defend themselves. We as a collective are not going away. So the jihadists will not win. We can just add them to the list of what we've survived, because we will survive this. And now the final thought I'll leave you with is to truly investigate for yourself before you jump on a bandwagon of genocide, settlers, colonizers. to really maybe Google and read the history of the Middle East and the world. Read history going back thousands of years, not just 50, 80, 60, 70 years, whatever. Read the real history. And I'll leave you with the final thought is think about tolerance, peace, and what real love is. What real love is for your neighbor. And I'm going to end with that. Thank you.